What is up, party people? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamila. This is JemilaBeReadin because I do be reading, and I'm coming at you with the next in my best of 2020 series. And today we're going to be talking about my favorite manga and anime. So, if you didn't know, I like anime and manga, and I feel like I watched a lot of anime this year, but now that I'm looking back on it, it isn't that much. Honestly, this year has been wild and weird, as we know. So, but there were definitely some gems in there, and I definitely got back more into manga. I'm usually more of an anime watcher than a manga reader. I think I usually just tend to prefer the medium watching it. I tend to watch a lot of like action based ones, so I kind of have a hard time following along with the panels, especially if there's a lot going on. I have to reread it over and over again to kind of see and understand what's going on. So I tend to prefer that in an anime because it's easier for me to see visually. But anyways, I got more into manga this year, more into reading it, and I also watched anime, of course. So I'm going to start off with manga because there isn't that much. And a lot of these are going to be repeats because I watched the anime and then there wasn't any more, so I read the manga. So that's all. Anyway, let's get into it. First up, I have My Hero Academia. I started My Hero Academia like towards the end of 2019. I think it was like my winter break a year ago. And then I watched it into 2020, and then I was watching week to week when season 4 was coming out, and it was pretty good. It was pretty fun, pretty wild. It was very enjoyable. And then I ended up picking up the manga after from where the anime left off, and it's been a very wild ride, I must say. There's a lot going on, especially right now. I just read this morning the newest chapter because I've been reading it week to week on the Shonen Jump like Viz Media app, and the most recent arc just ended finally. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of dragging. There was a lot going on and I was like, when is this gonna end? A lot is happening, and okay, I feel like I'm like dragging it now. It's fine, I really enjoyed it, but I will say it's not like the best, which is funny because I'm talking about my favorite manga and anime of the year. But to be quite honest, there was just a bunch that was in the middle of the road. So if it's like slightly above that, I'm going to be talking about it in this video. But anyways, now I'm just rambling. My Hero Academia was very entertaining. Let's move on. I read Demon Slayer earlier this year, so I watched it, the anime, pretty soon after it like finished airing last year. I think it was over winter break again. There was a lot happening over winter break last year. But I watched it, and then I decided to pick up the manga once again this year, and it was really good. I really like Demon Slayer. I know it's like pretty standard shonen, but I'm kind of loving this trend of protagonists being like very sweet and kind-hearted characters instead of the kind of like edgy ones. I don't know. And Tanjiro is so sweet, and I love him. A fellow Cancer, you know. Love him. I love his dynamics with all the other characters. It was very emotional towards the end. I will say it felt kind of rushed, the ending. The final arc just kind of happened all of a sudden, and I was like, oh, we're here already? I didn't really like it that much, but it was fine. And there was this one chapter, I think it was like the 4th or 5th chapter from the end. I was like bawling my eyes out. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm very excited to see all of this adapted. It was so good. I just love it, you know? I love it. There are a couple of shoujo manga that I read. One is My Love Story. Again, I first watched it as an anime this year, so I guess I'll just tackle two birds with one stone. I started the My Love Story anime earlier this year, kind of at the start of the pandemic, and it was so just cute and fun. I really liked it too because it was a romantic comedy where the two protagonists get together pretty early on. So the story is really just following them as they progress into their relationship versus like sometimes the very long and tedious, like trying to get to the point where they even just hold hands, you know? So I really liked that. I thought it was really refreshing and it was just so like sweet and wholesome. Oh my gosh. Wholesome is definitely the word I'd use to describe it. Once again, it ended. There's no like second season or anything. So I ended up picking up the manga. There was only 4 volumes that weren't adapted. So I ended up just reading from there, and it was equally as cute and wholesome, and I really loved it. The other shoujo is Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun. This is again another anime that I've seen already. I watched it a few years ago, and I've since rewatched it a ton of times because it's one of my favorites. It's so funny. It's so funny. I highly recommend. But it's basically about this girl who is trying to confess her feelings to this boy at her high school. Through some miscommunication, he ends up thinking that she is telling him that she's a fan of his work because he's secretly a very famous manga author, artist for like a very popular shoujo manga in this world. Things happen, and then she ends up assisting him with his manga, and there's other students from the school, his friends, who are involved, and so it's just really funny. There's like a couple of different like romantic subplots with other characters too. So I picked up the manga. I think there's like 4 volumes or 5 volumes from where the anime ends. So I read those, but it comes out on a monthly basis, the chapters. So it's like, I think 1 volume comes out a year. So I don't know when the next one's gonna come out. It's very slow going and not much has progressed, at least in ways of the romance. So I really don't know where it's gonna go at this point, but it's really entertaining. So I recommend it if you're looking for like a nice romantic comedy. I have Blood on the Tracks, which I also recently read, and I will be talking about more in depth in my December wrap-up video. But this is again another horror manga. It follows this kid and his mom. It's kind of like, I guess you could say, a domestic horror, but there's an incident that happens in the first volume that's like very wild with the mom, and it's really just gonna lead this kid to spiral. So it's very wild. I'll go ahead and like link or post up the description here. I feel like it'll be better at describing what this book is about, but it is so good. It's like one of the only manga that I gave like 5 stars to a volume. It was, oh my gosh, the art and the way that each panel like built up suspense for things that just would otherwise be a normal mundane thing. Oh my god, it was very creepy in a good way. I watched Mob Psycho 100 this year, and I watched both seasons and it was so good. I really love One Punch Man, which is from the same author, and ooh, it's so good. I almost would say that it's maybe better than One Punch Man. I just really liked how wholesome it is. It follows our main character, Shigeo, also known as Mob, who has like psychic telekinetic powers. He's super powerful. He's really just trying to get through life. He's a middle school student. He's trying to gain popularity so that he can get the attentions of this girl that he has a crush on. He joins like a weightlifting club. It's really just like a coming of age story, a day-to-day life set against the background of a lot of like magic and powers and stuff like that. I think the heart of the story is really following Mob and his journey to growing into himself and making connections with friends and all of this stuff and getting closer with his brother. It's just so cute and wholesome, and also the fights are really cool. So highly recommend it. I think I'm definitely gonna pick up the manga because I don't know when the 3rd season's gonna come out, but I think I'm gonna pick up the manga soon. So good. I also have Fruits Basket season 2. Love me some Fruits Basket. I read the manga like way back in the day, like 15 years ago when I was in middle school, and loved it. And so when I saw that they were readapting it, because the first anime is not good, let me tell you, but the first season was really good. It's definitely a lot closer to the manga, And the second season came out this year, also really good. I feel like a lot of people know what Fruits Basket is about, but if you don't, it follows our main character, Toru, who has lost her mother. And so she somehow got kicked out of her grandpa's house, or there's some sort of renovation, so she can't stay there. So she was living in a tent in a forest, really, taking care of herself. It turns out that the land that she was on is a part of like the Soma family land. She has these interactions with these two boys from her school, and it turns out that they're part of like the zodiac sign, and when someone of the opposite gender like hugs them or something, they turn into their like zodiac animal. And there's like a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like a lot of people probably know what Fruits Basket is about, but yeah, season 2 was great and I really enjoyed it. Another anime that I watched is Kaguya-sama Love is War. I watched the first season like maybe in January, and then I watched the second season when it came out in March, and I was watching it week to week. But it's another super hilarious anime. It is following these two characters who's the president and vice president of their student council, and they both like have a crush on each other, but they're so dominant personality that they're trying to make the other person confess first. And it's just set up in this really hilarious way where it's like they're having a battle, almost like it's like an action shonen, but instead they're just like doing these little like conniving things to get the other person to confess. And it's so funny and gets like very heartwarming at times too. And I absolutely love it. I definitely would check it out. It's very like interesting and like different way of telling like a love story. So I have also been watching Gintama. This is an anime that I've been watching for like the last 3 years, and I've just been slowly trying to get to the end. I have like about 50 episodes left until I finish it. It's like nearly 400 episodes long, and literally this anime has been with me for the last 3 years. It follows Gintoki and his two, not sidekicks, but he owns like an odd jobs kind of freelancing business. And he, at the beginning of the story, ends up running into these two teenagers. One is this boy named Shinpachi, and another is this girl named Kagura, who is an alien. This world is actually set up in like an alternate history Japan during the Edo period, where aliens have come and invaded and like colonized Japan, and the shogun just like let them basically do that. And so there's been a ban on samurai. You cannot walk around with a sword, so it effectively got rid of the samurai. And Gintoki was a part of like the rebel group when this first started and all this other stuff. So there's like that going on. It's just so funny. It's honestly like the funniest anime I've ever seen in my life. It's such stupid humor, but it gets me every single time. I'm like crying of laughter, but then like you'll be crying of laughter and all of a sudden it gets like really emotional and you're like, what just happened? It's so good. Honestly, it's like one of my favorite anime of all time. I tell this routinely, if there's any like anime or show where it's like the only thing I could ever watch, it'd probably be Gintama, because it has such a range of emotions. Like you'll be laughing, it'll be episodic, but then there's also like arcs going on, so it's like you get the best of both worlds. It's so good. I highly recommend it, especially if you want like a long anime. It's a bit of a time investment, but definitely worth it. It's so good. I have been watching Jujutsu Kaisen weekly as it's been coming out. I'm really enjoying it, definitely liking it better as an anime than when I read the first volume. But I think once the anime, at least this first season, is over, I'm probably going to continue with the manga, because now I'm just like really invested in the story. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about, because honestly the like initial plot that's like written on the cover or like the description is not even really what the story's about. So honestly, you can look it up if you want, but just know it's a shonen, action-packed adventure that involves, like, demons and stuff. It's really good. I like it. It's fun. Hello, I'm coming at y'all from a different angle now. I'm filming on my phone because my camera battery died. Basically, those were the anime and manga that I consumed. I think I was saying, let me know what your favorite anime is that you watched this year. Let me know what manga that you really enjoyed this year. I know this year has been very wild in terms of anime. A lot of things got pushed because of the pandemic, which makes sense. So there wasn't like a ton coming out this year, but yeah, you know, there's a lot of anime, so we don't have to watch new stuff, I suppose. But yeah, let me know down below. As always, my socials will be linked down below. I'll catch y'all in the next video, which will be right after this one, so